December 12th is the next concert in our St. John's Smith Square cycle of lunchtime concertos. And we're breaking the mold this time because we're doing two concertos. Well, one is a small movement by an English composer called Finzi, who lived in the first half of the 20th century and wrote in that beautiful English vein. This is a slow movement of a concerto he was planning, which never got finished, but the slow movement he named Eclogue and left it as a piece to stand in its own right. Just piano and strings, very ruminative, a piece that classic FM lovers enjoy very much indeed. And then I'm joined by these two wonderful soloists from our orchestra for the Mozart Sinfonia Concertante, which to my mind is one of the greatest works he ever wrote, even though he was only in his early 20s when he wrote this piece, shortly after the death of his mother in Paris. It is just a wonderful piece in E flat, one of his great keys, with a slow movement that really pulls on the heartstrings. But Simon, tell us about your part in this work.
Well, funny enough, I was going to talk about the viola part a little bit, only because I think that he was somehow inspired by the viola.
He loved the viola.
He loved the viola. He played the viola, didn't he?
He probably wrote it for himself, in fact.
Yeah.
He didn't really like playing the violin because he didn't like his boss, who made him play the violin as part of his job. And he really didn't like his job very much, working for the Archbishop in Salzburg. So I think playing the viola was a real pleasure for him.
And I think some of his greatest music is inspired by the viola. I was playing one of the string quintets this week, and it's just some of his finest writing. It's so beautiful.
And also he uses Divisi violas in the orchestral part as well. So
Yes, that is unusual.
It's quite viola-tastic, really.
Yes, and what is this about tuning the viola up a semitone?
Well,
is it because of the violas in the orchestra?
I think he wrote the solo part, Scordatura, for the viola to be tuned up a semitone, probably to set it, the colour aside from the orchestral timbre, to make it a sort of brighter, more projecting sound. But nowadays, we generally play it in the original key of E flat major because our setups are so much more powerful than they used to be in those
That's
days.
a useful word to know, scordatura. It's the Italian for this idea of tuning all the strings up so they're a bit tighter, so they sound a bit brighter, but it also has an unsettling effect on the tuning of the instrument because it's used to a particular key, an old instrument like this. And so you actually play it with the
I
normal
play it in E
tuning,
flat.
and it'll sound gorgeous too.
It will, and I think, in answer to your question about the violin part, I think the violin part is there as a balance to the viola part. I think it's very much affected.
Well, it's
by that.
it's a conversation between
really is.
you all the way through, and the slow movement when it goes da da dum da dee da da dee do is just one of the most heavenly pieces of music I can imagine, even from such a great composer as Mozart, even by his own standards.
I think it's the warmth also of the viola that gives the piece this flavour. That sort of deep resonance that you get from the viola,
Yeah.
and that really affects the duo writing, the conversational aspects. I always think
Like
of this
a port wine, isn't it?
very
the
fine
sound.
wine when Judith plays it. Yeah.
Thank you. A lot to live up to there.